Hey guys, if you're watching this, you most likely just completed a board and train program or lesson program where we taught you how to use an ecollar technologies mini educator ecollar. So I wanted to put together a video that you could reference should you forget how to do something, say how to turn it on, use it, plug it in, and if you hear a little bit of whining, that is me crate training my own puppy, Carbon. We all go through the puppy trenches, so forgive me. So to start, I was just going to show you, you'll be sent with a charger. It'll look like this. It has two, so you can charge this at the same time, the remote and the collar at the same time. So we'll peel open this, and then this goes here, like that. And then this, kind of hard to see there. We'll peel that back and put it in there. And every night I charge it like it's a cell phone, so that way when you wake up, it's kind of ready to go. The worst is when it's dying or dead and you need it and you don't have it. That completely defeats the purpose of having it if you can't use it. So these are completely waterproof. You can use these in the water when you go swimming or hiking or anything like that. All you want to do is, just like normally throughout the day, you should switch the collar onto different sides of the neck so that they don't get hot spots. Especially down here in southern Alabama, hot spots are pretty prevalent. It's just contact marks from sitting on the skin too long. So that's why we say about every 6 hours, switch different sides. But if you get in the water, take it off and let the neck dry completely, or the moisture trapped under the prongs will and can cause a really nasty hot spot. So just a heads up. So to turn them on, to turn the remote on, you're gonna hold, get it to focus. You're gonna hold the big button here. So when you hold it, the screen will flash blue and say on. And then this red dot here, we're gonna touch it to the red dot on the collar to turn the collar on. So like this. You'll know it's on because it flashes green. And if it keeps flashing green, you know it's charged. If you turn it on and it flashes red, that means it's dying and needs to be plugged in. So first, we'll start with vibrate. We personally use vibrate as a recall. It's kind of like a, hey, come check in. So if you're on a hike or whatever and you just need them, not necessarily to come swing into heel and stare at you, but you just kind of need them to check in. These go for half a mile. So we'll vibrate. This is the T on the side. There's only one button, that's the T. We'll hit this and you can, it flashing red when you hit a button just means that the collar is receiving it. It doesn't mean it's dying if you hit a button. So to use the stem is kind of a touchy subject for people. That's why whenever we sent you home with your collar, we made sure you felt it, because we never want to do something to the dog that we personally don't know. We personally don't know what it feels like, because that's not fair. So typically when people feel it, they'll feel it on like 20, and your dog probably feels it on a 3 to 4. So we start pretty low. This is how we change the number. It goes all the way up to 100. It'll say hi, and it goes all the way, it's my cat, it goes all the way to 0. Typically, the goal is to stay within that 0 to 10, 1 to 10 range. But every dog is different. Your working line German Shepherd's probably gonna have a different tolerance than, say, your pet doodle. It's just how it is. So I want to cover this number all the time in lessons because the number does not matter. What matters is how the dog receives the information. And some dogs will receive it at a 2. And in some environments, you might find a dog receives it at a 30. So I always say it does not matter what the number is. We're just looking for what information the dog needs. And that will change. So if you're in the house working on different house manners, say going to place, you might find a 4 to 5 is perfect. If you go to a parade with that same dog, I don't think the 4 to 5 will probably be enough in that setting. It's kind of like if you're in a bar, you're going to have to talk louder than if you're in a library. It's just different stimulus levels, and sometimes you have to raise it and sometimes you got to lower it. So that's why this really easy turn knob really comes in handy. So we'll go put it on like a 5. So when I hit it, you see how it turns red? That's how you know it's working. I'm hitting this top S. The bottom S is programmed as a +10. This is like a quick attention getter, like, hey, if you're hitting black and you get no response, then that's what red is for. Or if you need like a quick, say your dog starts to go after a deer. Well, now we have a way that's like, hey, no, that this level probably wouldn't have worked on. And this collar is pretty cool too, because say you go outside at night, if you hit this button once, you get a flashing light. If you hit it again, you get this solid light, which really comes in handy in the dark. You can see where your dog is, and then hit it again for it to turn off. So that is the basis of the e-collar. If you have any questions, we will definitely answer those in our future lessons, but I just wanted to give a video for reference. Should you just have a quick question, you have a way to get the answers you need. So I just want to give a quick rundown on how we use the e-collar. Please don't use this if you haven't been taught how to use an e-collar or doing lessons. The last thing you want to do is mess up the e-collar conditioning process and completely have to go back or traumatize your dog with it. That is worst case scenario. So a quick rundown is we put the collar on the dog and we want to put it tight enough. It's probably going to feel like it's too tight, but what you want to see is if you can fit 3 fingers underneath this part. We need these to be really in contact with the skin, or else the collar won't connect properly. And the worst thing is when it's not connected properly, so you think the dog's not feeling it, and you keep going up, and then suddenly it connects, and now you're at a 50, and it scares the dog, and that's just not fair. So we want to make sure that these are pretty tight against the skin like this. So the idea of the e-collar is to use it as a way to fade out your leash. We're just thinking about this as an imaginary leash for now. So we'll have it on the dog. I'm going to use the charger as a leash. So what we're going to do is whenever we're thinking about using a leash, all we're going to do is hit the e-collar first. So we're going to e-collar, leash, e-collar, leash. For example, if I say to come into heel, I'm going to say heel, e-collar, leash. And I'm going to pull the dog using leash pressure into heel. So again, verbal, e-collar, leash. Because the goal is that we'll go verbal, e-collar, and they don't need the leash, and then all they need is verbal. The goal is not to forever use tools. However, we always want to have them should we need them, so that does not mean eventually one day you'll never have to put this on your dog. I always put my seatbelt on when I get in the car, and if I never have to use it, that's a good thing. But should I get in a car accident, I do have it and I'm safe. So it's the same thing for this. Dogs are dogs. They're unpredictable. You can have the most perfectly trained dog, and sometimes that deer or rabbit crossing the street is pretty irresistible. So it's just a way to ensure safety and that we have that communication from a distance.